Congratulations, obviously, on pregnancy, baby boy number 2, and
boys.
This beautiful book we have right here. I want to ask you about how in the world did you get Riley to pose like this? Like, how did, I'm sure this was
doing a photo shoot with a toddler was fun. We filmed the whole thing. We brought like balloons and toys and blueberries really helped. He loves blueberries, so he was chasing us. But that was him towards the end of the day, crawling away, being like, I'm done. And we were like, this is cute. And I was like, come back here. And then we were like, look up, this actually works. And then I smiled. So it's like chaos, but it looked so posed and perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's motherhood.
I love that. My favorite part about this is that I feel like, you know, you're so open, and it's TMI guide to pregnancy from your bestie. You're so open talking about sex, and that's something that I feel like women are not encouraged to talk about ever. Is there anything off limits for you?
No, I feel like we grew up in a generation, I don't know how old you are, where like my parents, they don't talk about anything. Like my mom doesn't blow her nose in front of people, you know? And I want to be opposite. I don't know, I want to be open book with everyone because it makes me feel more normal when people are like, girl, me too. And I like asking for help on things. So even in my household, I live with my whole family and my brothers live in my house. And I was like, hey, we're trying for a baby tonight, you know, like I'm announcing it. And I'm also obsessed with the science of it. So I'm like, guys, if I'm pregnant, I'm implanting right now. And they're like, ugh. And I'm like, well, it's so cool, you know? So they're my best friends and they're gonna hear it whether they like it or not.
Do you have like a word when you're saying like, we're trying tonight, like?
Or I don't say like, we're trying tonight. I'll be like, we're trying. And this is, we've been trying, you know, like stuff like that when I'm talking to my bro and he's like, oh, you know.
It's like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So when you talk about all this stuff, do you feel like you just kind of go for it? And like, what is Daryl's take on all of this?
It's just like stuff that I've tried to Google and don't get answers on, you know? Like a big one was breastfeeding. Like, why is it so hard? And everyone's like, don't feel bad when it's really hard. And I was like, but why? Like I typed in like specifically what could go wrong. And I didn't get a lot of videos on it. I didn't get a lot of info. Maybe I'm bad at Googling. But what I wish they said was sometimes your nipple size won't fit the baby's mouth, you know? Sorry, everyone's like, oh, you know? But that would have made me feel so normal when I went through it and someone told me about that, you know? Or like it could hurt really bad. Or I didn't know you pumped in the hospital. All the research I did, I thought that was so silly. I was like, why am I packing my pumps? My milk won't come in for days. It could come in right away if you pump right away, you know? So I had to learn some silly stuff the hard way. But I didn't have a doula or a midwife or any of that because it was COVID and I was too scared of everyone.
Yeah, that's to be understood. I'm curious, how did you learn about sex, how babies are made?
Oh my gosh, I think when I was, my mom is 10 years older than all her siblings. So when I was like 10, I started getting cousins. So then I think I had to figure it out that way and was like, where are these babies all coming from? And I got to like help raise them and love them. And that's why I think I wanted to be a mom forever. I think I figured out at a young age. I remember swinging on a swing with my best guy friend and he explained it to me and we were like, ew, you know? I had one of those.
We all had that moment.
Yeah.
Honestly,
like,
you
ah!
actually, like my parents, okay, no, I'm not going to go
there.
Yeah,
no.
So
they never have.
When you have the talk with your kids, are you handing them this book?
Yeah. I want them to like, I also, you know, I never got a sex talk and I wish I did. And I tell my parents, I tell my mom, I was like, I wish I got something, man. That would have been a little helpful instead of learning on my own, you know? And so that's a thing that you know, you're like, I'm going to parent differently than that. I told my husband, I was like, for our boys, you're going to talk to them and teach them like how to treat women with respect or whoever they fall in love with, like treat people with respect and be kind to them. And that's a very special thing, you know, because I got none of that. And that was the one thing I was like, oh, I wish I had that.
Now you swung the complete opposite way and now you're like, I am open.
Yeah, I'm like, because I also poop shamed myself. Oh God, this has turned bad. Sorry guys. I also like, I couldn't go to the bathroom in public a lot. It scared me. And all my other friends are like, I go anywhere. And I'm like, oh man, so I want to teach my kids, like, everyone goes to the bathroom. Don't be afraid, go everywhere. I'm so sorry.
No, this is stuff that these are real
this is all
conversations
in my book.
that nobody wants to talk about. This is why this is here.
Yes.
Well, with that in mind, then, what is one piece of advice for newer expecting mamas?
For new mamas, don't freak out about your hair because there will be breakage and loss, and don't panic. It's fine. People, companies like Nexxus are making unbreakable care collections that will take care of your hair. I've been using their new shampoo and conditioner throughout this entire pregnancy, and it's looking good. Don't freak out like when your body changes like that. When there's moments, like have grace, like be easy on yourself. When the stretch marks, if they come in, when they come in, don't panic and buy every cream out there. Like it's gonna be okay, and especially like a C-section scar as well. Don't panic about it. Like try to be easy on yourself, because that's the last thing you need is to mom shame yourself and to judge yourself. And when you're going through something crazy, you know, like this is crazy. I'm doing it again. I'm like, this is a lot, you know.
It is a lot. I mean, we're helping the human race continue.
No
Making
small feat.
Making life. You get real in here, obviously, about all of the physical changes and everything too, but also the emotional changes that happen. You talked about suffering PTSD after Riley's birth story. Would you mind sharing exactly sort of what his birth plan and story ended up being?
Riley was breached, so I had to do a C-section, and I've been like Googling and studying like how to have contractions and labor, and I was like, oh, I haven't Googled C-sections, you know, I don't know anything about this. And my mom never had one, so I felt very scared and alone, and my mantra was like, just surrender, you know, there's nothing we could do, we have no control over this, and let's just get the baby out safely. And that was all scary enough on its own. But then when the baby came out, he didn't cry. And I was just so relieved that he was out and that like he was alive. And then I was like, where's that cry? And they took him right to the NICU. They're like, usually he'd wake up by now, but he's not. And they're like smiling. They're trained to be like, everything's fine. So then the scariest part on top of that was that they said, Dad, you should go with the baby. So then I was left there alone for the 45 minutes to be sewed back up. And I think that was the part that I had no music on for some reason, because I made a bad choice. Always play loud music during your C-sections because you hear and smell everything. So those moments were when I went home for the first month at nighttime when the pain would kick in. And I was taking like Tylenol, you know, for the pain, but you still feel everything. And it like, cause you're numb, but it's like when you get your teeth done, you can feel movement and stuff. So the pain like added up to that moment. And so I was laying in bed being like, oh my God, like tears in my eyes. And I was like, I'm still on the table. I'm stuck there, you know? And my husband had to help me a lot of nights, like try to fall asleep. And then you're just exhausted as a new mama. You're getting up every 2 hours. So it's like it could be a scary place. But luckily I feel like because I stayed on my antidepressants, I didn't have like scary moments. That was like as bad as it got for me. I didn't have like extremely dark thoughts, and it can get to a scary level. And the best thing I suggest is asking for help. I immediately was talking to my therapist and was like, it's weird, I can't stop crying at night when I fall asleep, and I feel like I'm back in that room. And she's like, okay, so this is like a form of PTSD and we're gonna have to work it through. And I was like, really? I was like, no, everyone goes through this, right? And she was like, well, let's talk about it. Let's break it down. And that really helped, and it stopped.
You talked about, PTSD, but also postpartum depression too. I mean, on top of that, you have all the pressure of you're a person in the public eye. You know, there's all the taboo around being a mother, about being a good mom, and what that looks like. How did you navigate that?
Being a good mom in the public eye?
Yeah, just like that pressure that everyone's like, everyone's gonna pick apart every decision that you make. How do you bring...
Yeah, it's definitely like, there's things that we think about that I feel like not a lot of people think about. I don't know. Like, I don't ever want to film certain things with my child, like, because I'm scared someone will rip me apart for that decision that I make with them, you know? Whether it's like how I feed them or how I buckle them up or how, you know? We definitely think about that stuff more. But he's so cute and delicious and such a good kid and so adorable that I want to show like how awesome he is all the time. But there's like it's nice when you're a parent with someone, like I have Daryl, to be like, can I post this? How cute is he, you know? And together we choose like what we should post and what not to post. So it's nice having like boundaries and having someone with me to make those decisions for.
I do want to ask about baby number 2. How are you feeling, first of all? Where are we at in this?
We're entering, we're in the 3rd trimester. We're almost there. I have like 10 weeks left. And I'm getting a C-section with this one as well. Yeah, and so I booked it. And as we get closer, I had no fear. And as I get closer, me and my husband have been talking about it. And I'm like, oof, I'm scared. Because I just found out recently that when he got taken away with the baby, they were asking him like, okay, what are your religious beliefs in case like he dies, or if could we give him blood, all that. And I was like, babe, are you okay? Like, I didn't know that. Like, what were you going through while I was suffering over here, you know? So we were both like, oh, that wasn't fun, you know? But each way is tough giving birth, and we got this. Surrender, surrender, surrender.
And the fact is that the two of you have each other, so no matter what, at the end of the day, you're, you know,
a
unit.
If I have him, I'll get through anything.
Yeah. Everyone always asks, like, what you're going to name the baby. I'm not going to ask you what you're going to name the baby, but what does Riley want to name the baby?
Oh, there's a name. There's been a name since this baby was 10 weeks old. And Riley looks at my belly and goes, baby, and then the name. So yeah, it's pretty cute.
I'm curious, what did your parents want to name you if they weren't going to name you Meghan?
Morgan. I was a Morgan, but there was a Morgan that was just born, like, right around me. And Morgan and Jordan. I was like, I don't love Meghan, but I like those, I guess, better than Morgan. I don't know.
But they also
don't seem
the gender neutral thing, like with Riley too. So I mean, I guess it all.
Yeah. They really wanted they kind of had the same situation as me. Like, I wanted a girl named Riley, and I was like, either way, like, this baby will be named Riley. And for my older brother Ryan, they were like, oh, we want a girl named Ryan. I'm like, that'd be so cool. But then they had a boy, and he's still Ryan. He's such a Ryan, though. Ugh.
Such a Ryan.
Such a Ryan.
I love when you fit into the name. It's like,
yeah,
great.
I'm like, ugh, you're so Ryan.
I love that. So talk to us a little bit about, I know that you mentioned it earlier, but if you can just give us a quick rundown of your partnership with Nexxus and how this has been helpful during your pregnancy.
Oh yeah, I'm so lucky that a brand like Nexxus is thinking about all women and about all people who have like thin hair and have breakage or damage. I've definitely done some damage to my hair. Like, I was always like, had thin hair in high school, and then I went right into pop star world, which was like clip-ins, extensions, and then I went red for some reason, and then I went back to blonde, and I had like hair to here. So I've got obsessed with like taking care of my hair. And Nexxus reached out and said, we're making this new amazing product, the Unbreakable Care Collection, that is all for that. Like, scientists are finding out the root of why there's breakage and why it's hard to grow hair. And so now this is all up in my showers, my shampoo and conditioner, and I actually use it and love it. And especially the lift spray, the root thickening spray. I used it today. Hello. And I'm just so glad to partner with something that I actually need and believe in. I'm like, oh, this is so convenient for me. And I just like really appreciate that they're talking about stuff. It's so me, like, let's talk about stuff that not everyone's comfortable talking about, but I need help in it, you know?